My friends, if there's one thing that's going to kill this entire process, it's oversimplicity. If ever there's one thing that's going to kill us, it's going to be our refusal or inability to really focus on what's really happening here. Unless you don't want to know, unless you're not interested. And I say that, and I say that, and I'm not trying to be cute about this. There are some people who will say, I'm not really interested in what you consider to be, you know, interesting, or the world view. I'm not into that. That's not my thing. I'm not into the world view. That's not my thing. I'm just into hearing either, and this is up to you now, either the same story repeated, or I want the same information repeated constantly, if that makes any sense to you. Does that make any sense? Does that grasp? I was listening to two of the most fascinating discussions, which I wanted to bring to your attention. Absolutely incredible. And when I tell people this, they look at me like, what are you talking about? The first, believe it or not, is this was, thank you, dear. The first one was, this was Fareed Zakaria, who was on India Today. And he was on, I forget what it was, an excellent. In fact, let me do this. Let me give you a copy of this, because when I see something that is good, I want to let you know. So here we go right there. This is the first one. And this was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. The second one I want to bring to your attention is the following. Let me bring you this baby here. This. Where do we have here? This one. Hang on. This is important. Stand by. Forgive me. I hate there's nothing worse than this, but I want you to. Okay. This is called The Thinking Muslim. This is about an hour and 50 minutes with Sami Hamdi. Absolutely indispensable in terms of your understanding what is happening here. Let me try this one more time. Let me see. Where are we? There we are. Okay. Let me make sure we get that out of the way. As I have told you, it is important and critical that you, as a student of the world, focus on your version of the realities, not to hear people merely asseverate, repeat, reinforce the same theories over and over and over again. Does that make any sense to you? I hope it does. I hope it's critical. I hope it's important. I can't say this enough, and there's no way to put this into words. This is not about what you want things to be. It is not about you finding your host, your show that you like, and repeating the reference, the mantra, the chant, the shibboleth, the incantation, the rote methodology, the systems. If you might think it's important, it's critical to say these are terrorists, this is what's happening, they have to be stopped, they have to be crushed, Hamas. Okay, fine. That doesn't do any. That's not what the world is thinking. I mean, yeah, they're thinking about that, but not the people who are trying to pattern and trying to focus and trying to craft the rest of the world. I can't explain this to you enough. You're going to have to ask yourself, how deep do I want to get into this? Do I want to really understand it, or do I want to be a cheerleader? I'm sorry to say it. Do I want to pick a side? And that goes for left and right. And there are people who will just keep talking about the Israeli occupation. I'm thinking, if you think that's going to be it, if you think that is the beginning and the end, let me stop right there. Let me stop right there. Let me stop right there. Listen to me very, very, very carefully here. I can't say this enough to you, my friends. I don't think people recognize how serious this is and how the world is going to be forever changed by this. New coalitions, the United States has been supplanted in terms of what it is able to do and what it is able to maintain in terms of the world. That's all I'm going to tell you. That's all I'm going to tell you. I don't think you have any clue whatsoever in terms of how the world has changed. Let me stop right now, my friends. First, to remind you, please like this channel. It's so critical that we ask you to do this. To like the channel, subscribe to the channel. Very, very important. Very, very critical. A couple of announcements, of course, as you know. Right now we have, this is so important. Right now we have, as the world tries to figure out what's going on, we have this idea in this country that everything that's happening in the world is over there, that we are immune from lockdowns, that we are immune from shortages, from food disaster. Remember, food, water, energy. Those are the big three. Those are it. And that we somehow, by virtue of our special place in the world, we are not able to grasp, or we are immune from these things. I'm telling you right now, why people think this, I have no idea. But we are not immune from what's happening. We are not. Right now, for the first time in, I don't know, ever, the premier food safety, food emergency food, not storage, but supply company, My Patriot Supply, has an introductory deal which is unprecedented. You can save $200 off a 3-month emergency food kit. $200. This is not a trinket. This is not a kind of a luxury. Oh, luxury is, I guess, emergency food during a crisis. This is insurance. Everything that I'm telling you right now should just do nothing but remind you that the world and everything is changing like that. Everything that you know to be usual, your usual sense of normalcy, can change in a heartbeat. Preparewithlionel.com has something for you to go. Just go and look at this. But for the first time ever, you can save $200, $200 off a 3-month emergency food kit. You're smart. You are wise. You know what to do. Go to preparewithlionel.com. Preparewithlionel.com, my friends. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your family, for your safety, for the future. Can't say it anymore. Preparewithlionel.com. And also, you have mentioned this. Good news. Here is the link right now. I'm going to be at the Cutting Room February 3rd, 2024, 2324. Doors open at 6 p.m. And I am going, let me fix it. It'd be nice if I spelled doors correctly. Wouldn't that be terrific? Wouldn't that be great if I spelled it correctly? Yes, doors open at 6 p.m., 7 p.m. curtain. That is correct. And there we are, right there, my friends. All right, that's it. So, there we are. There's the link. There it is. I will have this for you. Cutting room, the tickets are there. It is all there. I will have this link on the section so you can go. I don't know if you've ever seen this before. This is not stand-up comedy. This is not like anything you've done. This is where we go, where I go, where you and I are together, and we get to share not only what's going on. I mean, it's funny. It's not funereal, but you are the star. We do Q&A. We do participation. We do something interactive, immersive, like nobody does. I'll have the information right there on the description and on the segment for you to comment. Okay, so that's coming up, and you have asked. All right, let's go back to business. There's a tendency that people have, and I think it's because of I don't want to always say this, but I don't think people like complicated things. I really don't think. I mean, and with all due respect to America, and I love my country, but I don't think we really understand what complicated means. I really don't. I asked myself, I'm not going to mention names because there's nothing worse. There's some stuff that is just so mindless. I don't even know how to explain this. So bear with me because I'm trying to point out positive. I'm trying to be positive. This one's good. These two I showed you were just, listen to what they're saying. If you want to understand what is happening in Vietnam, you talk to the veterans. You talk to people who were there. You talk to Vietnamese. You don't talk to somebody on a network. The media are your enemies. The media are your enemies. They are not here to help you. They are not here. They are here for one thing and one thing only: numbers, metrics. Everybody to an extent wants that. I understand that. But if you think that Israel is correct, that Israel is right, that that's the end of it, that Hamas is a terrorist organization, and then as soon as they get it through their heads and back off and denounce or renounce and abnegate any kind of connection to Hamas, if you think that that is merely it, you are missing everything. You are missing everything. You'll never be able to function in the world if you're saying, that's the way it is. I don't want to hear this anymore. That's it. There was a show. I'm trying to be very, very kind. I'm trying to be understanding. There is a show, and it's very, very good, and I like it. And God bless them. God bless them. It's a younger kind of a show, and it's younger, kind of a newsy thing, and you can. And there's one in particular, and she uses the word like. I mean, if you count the likes, if you took a shot every time she says like, you will not be able to understand what she's talking about. You will hear like. And I was like, so, and like, and so, like, I, and like Israel, like, I mean, and she doesn't even realize it. She doesn't realize it because she is so immersed in this culture. This, I don't know what the word is, but she is so immersed in this. And her thing is this. Let me see if I can explain this to you. Israel and the occupation is apartheid. That's it. That's it. That's it. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? That is it. She doesn't want to hear. Now, it's right, or maybe it is, okay. But I'm thinking that's not it. You're not listening to what's going on. But in her world, and I'm sorry, I'm an ageist. I'm sorry if I say this. Please forgive me. But if you hang around 20-somethings or early 30s, and that is your worldview, if that is your worldview, that's it. You don't see the other side. You don't understand what the enemy is trying, your enemy, whoever your enemy is. If you don't grasp it, what is the point? How do you ever plan to be in the world of news if you don't even understand what both sides are saying? This is the part that kills me. This is the part that just blows my mind. You're not going to do this. I know you're not going to do it. I know you're not going to do it because you're smart. Okay? And I understand that you're smart and you recognize the fact that we are interested in the world view, in the world, okay? We're interested in the world and not necessarily to have somebody asseverate and perseverate and repeat and keep announcing that which we believe in. Now, there's another group, another one, a prototypical conservative show with the young, the next wave of the conservative, whatever, the young, okay, repeating the opposite. Israel's 100% correct. Hamas is a terrorist organization. That's it. And as soon as Hamas just gets it through their head that they're wrong, everybody's going to be fine. That's it. I can't believe what I'm hearing. That's it. One thing over and over and over and over. I'm going to go like this all the time right now. Do you understand? Have you followed what Abu Mazen is and the Palestinian Authority? This is a guy who's been what? He had like one election. He's been there, what is he, 15 years? I think he's had one election. Profoundly corrupt, profoundly ineffective, profoundly backwards. Do you grasp this? Do you, first and foremost, number one, to both of these, and I can see their faces, do you want to start off with what the Palestinian contingent has? Number one, does that make any sense? Sparky says Hamas is a U.S. proxy via Qatar. People should modify their paradigm and ire accordingly. An excellent point. However, Sparky, I want you to do us a favor. This is a good point. I want you to go and I want you to say what you just said on a loudspeaker to go anywhere. Go to Rafah. Go wherever you want. Just go to Gaza and say that. What do you think people would say? Now, remember something. I don't want to say something just to say it. Good will always conquer evil. Okay, that's nice. That's good. That's not true necessarily, but that's okay, fine. What is it? What is it? What do you think that would do? Remember this. Ladies and gentlemen of Palestine, Palestinians. Somebody would say, they're not Palestinians. What do you think would do? What would do? What would do? What would do? What would they? You say, who is this? You don't understand. Hamas is a U.S. proxy. Okay. The money's in Qatar. The Hamas, your leadership, they're flying around in jets. They don't even live where you are. They have nothing. They're using you as basically fodder, as ammunition to propose something. They're not even there. What they are demanding that you do, they're sending you back because you're a human shield. Okay, stop. Stop right there. What do you think happens if I say that? What happens? We cannot be satisfied into saying, I know what's right. That's the way it is. And that's it. And as soon as you understand what's going on, that's going to be fine. You are wasting your time if you think that we say these things. Sparky says many would agree. Excellent. Sparky, you are so correct. What would happen right now? What would happen? Again, you're standing there. You're standing at Gaza. You're at one of the checkpoints, or you're able to drop leaflets, and everybody knows it. Everybody there says, "This is incredible." What happens? Tell me. That makes sense. Or Hamas is a terrorist organization. You're being used as cannon fodder, as a human shield. Yep. What does that do? Tell me. Where does Hamas work in? Do you think, who thinks people like Hamas? Who thinks that people like Hamas? Why don't you think Hamas is mentioned? We say Israel versus Hamas. In fact, that's how I've retitled this. This says everything. Do you think that they are the ones who say, imagine this, go back. Imagine Vietnam, you're dropping leaflets or you're on loudspeakers and you're telling the people of Vietnam, you are part, and this is when we first started initially, you are part of basically a nationalist movement. You're being played by Russia and China really against the United States. You are part of what appears to be the first leg of a huge domino sweep throughout the area. What would you do? What do you think they would say? We love certitude. We believe that the problem is that people don't understand our truth. Once they hear it, they're going to be fine. They're going to get it. You don't understand. And these two people, I would put them together and I would say, you're saying that Israel is an apartheid state, and you're saying that what? That there is no settlement, that they had their chance. Oh, I can tell you. How about what Ehud Barak and Ehud Olmert said? The two deals, specifically the one that Ehud Barak started, where Yasser Arafat started the second Intifada right after they turned the deal down. What do you think that would do? What do you think that would do? What do you think that would do? And I could see these two people. I could see these two these two younger folks. They would look at me and they'll say, "What are you talking about?" One wants to say that Hamas is a terrorist organization. The other one wants to say that Israel is apartheid. And they're stuck in this. They're just stuck. We're not getting anywhere. We're just repeating things. First and foremost, the intractability of this. And what I'm trying to tell you is listen to what other people are saying. Not that you understand it, but to say, okay, what happens next? Sparky says, always good comment, Hamas isn't interviewed lest they implicate the U.S. They are not going to say, they are being interviewed. Well, we're not hearing it, but they are being interviewed. Listen to what Hamas said the other day, and listen to what they're saying in concert with Iran. Listen, if you really want to say the other argument is that Hamas can't be interviewed lest they detail the complicity of Israel. Remember that story about that. We are not talking about, how do we say this? We have not yet been able to understand where is this going next. Let me see if I can say this again. The problem that we have right now is not in people understanding diagnosis, the sources of this. I can't say this enough. The issue is not trying to figure out the sources. That's not it. It's not to refer, the Balfour Agreement. It's not to go back and to refer to, after Yom Kippur, there was a chance. And, in 2005, there was okay, that's great. That's wonderful. That's me just yelling something out to tell the rest of the group, see, I know something here. What happens right this moment? Right this moment. This is bigger. Is the United States, let me try this. Let me ask you a question. Is the United States removed from the primus inter pares, the one among equals? Do you recognize this? The first among equals out of it. Do you recognize this? Do you understand how desperate, one of the reasons for the desperation of why Blinken is there with the shuttle diplomacy is trying its best for the United States to reestablish itself as with its two carrier groups? Do you understand this? Why do you think that is? What is the take? And I heard somebody today say, who cares? Just back off. It's none of our business. What? It's not, don't worry. You know what? This is not Ukraine. This is not Ukraine. We started Ukraine. We did it. We did it through NATO, through our NATO proxy, through Nuland. They basically, that was to goad Russia. That was our thing. We started that. This we didn't supposedly start. But if you think we're going to let the rest of the world fill the vacuum, you're out of your mind. What happens? What happens? What do you think happens? See, what we're doing is we're seeing, and I can see this, there's just a lot of not sure, little morsels. Petrodollar, Again, complicity, maybe the correction of Qatar, maybe the connection of it. We're gonna go back to Golda Meir, throw that one in. We just throw things. We just say things. Has anybody mentioned Golda Meir? No. No? How about Munich, 1972? No? Okay, well, throw that one out there. There we go. I'm gonna say Munich. I'll throw that one out there. Black September. Throw that out there. There you go. Does that we're just where is the next step? And how is this? How does the world feel right now? Do you think the world is paying attention to Hamas? Let me ask you, do you think that the world cares about Hamas? Really? Seriously? Do you think this is about Hamas? If Hamas were just to disappear, do you think that the problems, this notion about the Palestinian state and the two-state solution, do you think it would go away? Yes or no? If there were no Hamas, do you think the problem would go away? Yes or no? The problem, they got rid of the PLO. They got rid of Yasser Arafat. Nothing happened there. Do you think it would happen? Yes. Do you? Do you? Who thinks this? Anybody? Who thinks this? Anybody? So if it's not about Hamas, if Hamas isn't going to change anything, so what's the problem? Why do we discuss Hamas? Why did we talk about, do you think that this was terrorism? Is Hamas a terrorist organization? If you want to watch Fox, there is nothing more there. I don't even know. I swear to you, I don't think anybody even remotely understands anything that's going on. And I'm trying not to be mean. I'm trying. So I really mean this. And I'm not trying to be, please, I'm not trying to be mean or rude or any of that stuff. They don't know what they're talking about. They really, really, really don't know what they're talking about. Okay? It's just basic. It's just screaming and to pull the base. They are trying, and it's not just their fault. They're trying to say, you tune in to hear a message. And while I don't precisely disagree with it, that's not it. We hate complexity. During Vietnam, when we talked about the horrors, the horrors of what the NVA, what happened to American soldiers, I'm thinking to myself, do you follow? Remember Carlos Hathcock? Carlos Hathcock was one of, if not one of the greatest before Kyle and all those others. There was a book, Marine Sniper. Carlos Hathcock was the monster. By the way, Carlos Hathcock was the one who said there's no way that Lee Harvey Oswald could have ever done what he said he did. Okay. So, Carlos Hathcock, we celebrate as one of the greatest Marine snipers ever. If somebody say, excuse me, Mr. Hathcock, Gunny, yes. We're celebrating you because you went to Vietnam, to a country, to a sovereign country, at least sort of, and you were killing all of their generals and soldiers, whatever, went to their country. You introduced yourself, went to their country, killed all their people, all of them, 90 something confirmed, and I don't know how many unconfirmed. And we're celebrating you. What do you think the Vietnamese people think of you? They say, who is this guy? What if Zarqawi came to the United States and started picking off American soldiers? We would want his head. We would want him to. We can't think that way. We are the United States of America. We call the shots. Not anymore. We sit here, even in our discussions, even in our political analyses, even there, we do the same thing. We say it, you don't understand. This is the way it is. This is our way of doing it. We're right. You don't get it. You don't get it. We're right. And as soon as you get it through your head, you'll be a lot better off. I'm Fox News. I'm Mark Levin. I'm MSNBC. I'm whoever I am. Mehdi Hassan, you don't get it. It's this or it's this. No, it's not. What do you think happens? Here is the point. They would laugh me off if I came in and said, listen, do you want to get a fair and balanced view of this? No. We want to, as Roger Ailes said, we want to narrowcast. I want to give the Fox News folks the understanding that when they call up, it's going to be pro-Israel, which is fine, pro-IDF, pro-America, unless it's against Trump. Anyway, pro-IDF, anti-terrorist, and we're going to get basically a bunch of folks to sit on the couch and repeat and show pictures and videos and accounts of horrors that have befallen innocent Americans and Israelis, and it's correct. There's nothing that's not wrong. This happened. What does that tell you about the big picture? Do you want to see any other videos from the other side? No, not interested. Why? I don't care. Yeah, but not in any way to dismiss what happens to these people on the 7th, but no, don't care. John McGuire says, in my opinion, Hamas is partially a symptom of economic turmoil. If Palestine was full of fat and happy people, would they even exist? Annual income, Palestine 2,000, Israel 50,000. That's a good point, an excellent point, but it's a little bit more complicated than that. What was there before Hamas? What was it? Now you could say Hamas was created. I told you there is a theory, there is an idea that Hamas was created basically and fed by Israel as a religious clerical counterbalance to a more secular PLO. You got it? You got it? Absolutely. And that was a disaster. And that when Hamas grew out of nowhere, when it grew and full flowered and was it not refulgent, but whatever. They only won the elections by a plurality. They're not overwhelming, but they were better and are better than this effete and concretized Palestinian Authority. That's it. Our good friend Sparky says, so far it's been the biggest PR disaster for Israel ever. I think you're onto something there. Yes, absolutely. And you know what, Sparky? You know what else I'm seeing? One of the biggest deals ever. I don't want to say it's false. I don't want to say it's whatever, but one of the biggest deals ever was the invincibility, the almost mythic, the almost, I don't know what the word is, mythic idea of this Israeli military Leviathan, this monster, this military intelligence behemoth that no one could even imagine. Mossad. If you don't understand why intelligence agencies and countries work hand in hand with media types in order to create the illusion, not the illusion, the perception of whatever. Born Identity, Intel sponsored. It goes back. What was that? You can look at CIA. I don't know if they haven't checked in a while, but on their website, there was a there was a piece that said something to the effect of, if you're looking to film or whatever, a movie, show us your script and we will give you access to military, bases, and you can show the Top Gun. This goes back to the notion of propaganda since way before. Remember propaganda, Gregory, the whatever propaganda, the propagation of the faith. Remember, to propagate, from Capra to Louis B. Mayer to Leni Riefenstahl. It goes back forever. And the greatest intelligence coup wasn't Mossad, but the perception of it scared the hell out of people. We know where you are. We know what you're doing. We have the biggest access to everything you've ever. We have, and it's true, Israel as a tech center. I don't want to say forget Silicon Valley, but they are the parallel of China and Israel, how they came out of nothing is just incredible. Not only that, this is a nuclear weapon powerhouse, which they don't talk about, but they're basically mounted by submarines. Okay. But Mossad, not Amman, they're actually bigger. This is military intelligence. Shin Bet's, like their FBI. This is their CIA, Mossad. But the notion, Entebbe, remember that raid on Entebbe? This is where Bibi's brother was killed. Yoni, or I forget his nickname. But anyway, it was his brother. Or was that Bibi? Bibi was another one. Anyway, there was this. There was Gideon's sword. I mean, okay. This collapse. This means, wait a minute. What happened to Mossad? This must have been an inside job. Must have been a lie hop, let it happen on purpose, because there's no way that this vaunted, right? This is what people are saying. But maybe there was nothing there. Maybe this was all hype. Not all hype, but a lot of it hype. The next level, people are saying, hey, listen, this IDF, they may not be as great as you think. Because there was a story today I was reading about how these reservists are showing up with earrings and beards and going, hey, I'm a reservist. Yeah, you may be a reservist, but that's not exactly what we're talking about. Say what you want. The United States, we have military ready to go. We don't call on reservists. We don't call anybody up. We can do it. Now, there's a bit, as bad as you think that the military is, our military, as bad as you think, with this woke business and pink hair and studs and pronouns. Oh, no. We are badass, okay? Edie Crowley says, my best friend is related to an 84-year-old Israeli woman held hostage. Oh, my God. I can't even imagine that. I can't imagine what those people are going through. Sparky says, with so many Israelis fleeing, they may eventually end up with the skeleton crew citizenry and 1948 borders. Sparky, that's not beyond the realm of theoretical possibility. Let me go back to this. Let me go back to something. This is the part that is so interesting. Please bear with me on this. Because there's so much that we can learn from this. There's so much. When people sometimes enjoy their idea, their notion of martial arts. Have you noticed this? When Joe Rogan and other people talk about Muay Thai and Brazilians, martial arts, mixed martial arts, MMA, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to go boxing. I'm going to learn boxing. Okay. Remember that fellow in China? Please bear with me on this one. Bear with me. You'll enjoy this. There was a fellow in China who said, these Tai Chi folks, this and, Bruce Lee and, come, what is this? In a bar fight, in a street fight, This isn't going to work. What are you talking about? Ultimate fighting and actual street fighting is a different story. Then there's combat fighting. That's when people take things like, they take, pens and they want to basically, kill. Well, that's over there. But when somebody wants to learn how to fight, what is it that you want to do? What is it that you're trying to accomplish? What is it that you really are trying to do? Years ago, there was a wonderful time. I had a great time. And I'm in no way in any way near any kind of practitioner stuff, but it was fascinating to hear what people say. Before Krav Maga, contact combat, Israeli combat, before it was kind of cool, there was a fellow that I met who's very, very big, and it was just starting in this country then. This was 20-something years ago. And his first thing was, I'm going to teach you how to get out. You're in a fight. Somebody's going to hurt you. You have to get out. You have to escape. You're not going to finish anybody off. You're not going to make a stand. You're not going to win. You're not going to win. He always said, you want competition? Go down the street. Go to the street. You want competition? You want to wear a belt? Go down the street. You want to wear a gi? Go down the street. I don't want to go down the street. His whole thing was, I'm not here. We're not going to. No, I mean, you can, go to the. No. How do you stop somebody and then get out to live another day? How do you get out? Leave. Second rule, leave. Do your damage, leave. Either to stop the person, you want to stop them, slow them down, not dispatch the person, leave. When you get involved, the longer you're in a fight, the more danger it is. If somebody hits you right around here, to shatter these bones, oh my God, when they're shattered, oh God, the maxillofacial surgery, you don't want even a nose, headbutts, and get out. It was the most interesting thing in the world. War is about minimizing contact. It is about, you got to ask yourself, what am I trying to do? What am I trying to do? Where is the terrain? Who is the enemy? How do I win this? And the first thing that is absolutely critical is to identify what is it you're trying to do. World War II, Normandy, Omaha Beach, take the bluffs, move in. This is part of you're going to move. This flank is going to come here. The Third Army is going to come here. They're going to surrender here. That's it. War's over. Now that's a war where you're like this. You come in like this. This guy gives in, command and control, blah, blah, blah. At the same time, the Russians are taken care of on the Eastern Front. That's a war. We take Calais. We take Paris. We take this. We take Basta. Then comes things like Battle of the Bulge. Oh, God. The Ardennes. Oh, my God. What is this? But it was still kind of okay. It was still, we pretty much uniforms. There was some resistance and there were some people, but it was basically the other group. They had uniforms. This is where they are. They have leadership. When you take them prisoners, you can all put them together. It wasn't guerrilla warfare. There was some. That's what war is. That's what it is. It's getting real professionals in there who say, I know about this. Pacific theater, different. European theater. Vietnam, what the hell was that all about? That was wait a minute. North Korea was even weirder, but still, North Korea, China, still sort of, okay. That was about terrain and weather and horror. Okay. We still talk about war like people think they're going to be in a fight in a bar and they're going to do a roundhouse right and they're going to be telegraphing something. They think that this is a war about John Wayne or Dirty Harry or you're Bruce Lee or something. That's not what this is about. You've got to get out of here. That may not be very manly. You got to get out. This person's not worth it to you. Get out. However, war also is you want to go in and start a bar fight. You want to start it. And when you want to start it, that's a different story. Starting is easy, real easy. Look what NATO told you about with Putin. They know exactly what to do. They know exactly. He told them, "This is my red line. You're at a bar." Some big guy said, "Don't say anything about my girlfriend." Okay, let's say something about. Okay, he just told us. We talk this nonsense. There was one. Please forgive me. There was one woman. She looks like she's 12 years old. She's got blonde hair. She sits on the couch. And she smiles like this. And she talks about war like it's some groovy thing. I don't know what it is. Like it's some I don't know, righteous I don't know what you want to call it. She talks about war like a child. She will never see it. She will never be involved in it. She just and we're going to do it and they're the best. And there's battle pictures and there's a map and they'll talk to somebody from the IDF and they have no interest at all in saying, well, what does Hamas say? Well, if they do tell you, it's to show you that they're crazy. They never say, well, why would this matter to us? Imagine during the Vietnam War, World War II, I don't know, but imagine during World War II, all of a sudden, imagine this. Hamas sends over 2 brigades, battalions, divisions, whatever it is, because Hamas hates the Germans or the Italians or more than we do. And they want to join forces with us. Would we allow that? Absolutely. The enemy of my enemy has been said too often. Okay. But we don't like these people. Who cares? They're on our side. They're on our side. We like them. Okay. Remember when any Vietnam vets here? Did they ever hear about the rocks? The Koreans? They said that the only people. This is what people say. The only people that the NVA ever feared were the Koreans. The rocks. They were the scariest. Dear God. The rocks. The Korean, oh my God, they didn't know anything about rules of interrogation. They throw people out of helicopters. So the story goes. Okay, now that I bored you with my stories about martial arts, let's start again. This is called a war. Everything you think you know about theories, who's involved with who, what happened, 1967. You've got who is the enemy? Let me ask you something. Who is right now, if you're dealing with a Hamas terrorist, you can call him whatever you want. Who do you think is your enemy? It's a 20-year-old kid. It's not some 50-year-old guy with perspective who's read and has a college degree. They might be calling the shots. It's a 20-year-old kid. Right? Let me ask you, who's the enemy? 20-year-old kid. So we're planning to go in. Okay, we're going to go in. Let's say we're a part of an IDF battalion, brigade, division, whatever it is, and we're going to go in. We're going to start off with the north. From this pair, we're going to go in and we're going to get rid of Hamas. Okay, who's our enemy? What are we looking for? You're the sergeant. You're the captain. You're the officer in charge. Somebody says to you, "Sir," sound like Trump. We have right now information that in this particular quadrant, this particular sector, this particular city, this particular apartment, this particular area, this place, this is where they are right now. Hamas, there's a Hamas contingent. There's a battery of Qassam rockets, blah, blah, blah. And they're there and they're using these people as human shields. It's either a hospital or a nursery school or whatever it is. The other day, Mrs. Allen and I were walking. We walked by this place. It was so cute. They had little martial arts, and these kids are there, and they're doing their stuff. I thought to myself, can you imagine if somebody used this as if I put a missile or a rocket battery on top of this building, And I told the world, you come after me, you're going to kill these cute little kids. I mean, just imagine that. I can't even imagine. I mean, it's effective, but it's beyond horrible. Okay, that notwithstanding, what do you do? What do you do? Now stop right there. Answer my question. What do you do? What are the questions you're going to ask? What are the questions you're going to ask? What do you think? Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. Seriously. Tell me what you think. What do you do? What do you do? Tell me. I want to hear from you great people. What do you think? Tell me what you think. This is your group. This is my question for you. I know people are talking about all kinds of what you're in the IDF and you're going to go, you have this group of people. This is where they are. They're in this building. There's kids in there. What do you do? Tell me what you do. What do you do? Tell me. Thomas says you do what's necessary. What's necessary? Tell me what's necessary. Level it. Okay, Eric, pause it. You're going to level it. Great. That's exactly what they want you to do. And they are ready. They are ready. We aren't in the IDF. Somebody actually says this. Somebody actually wrote right now, we aren't in the IDF. It's called a hypothetical. And in a hypothetical, you're asked people to assume things that they are not, hence the hypothetical nature of it. What do? Leaving a fight soon helps avoid arrest too. Leaving a fight soon helps avoid arrest too. That's true. But in battle, you are sent because people are saying, go into Gaza. Go into Gaza. And let me ask you a question. You're there. You have a group of, you're with the IDF. What do? You have intel that says this building, intel, by the way, that hasn't been 100%, but you are told they're in this building. And you say, yeah, but there's kids in there too. What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Someone says, starting a war is hard. No, starting a war is easy. Ending it. I would probably never go to the military combat. I would sooner sit in jail and keep my conscience. Okay, great. Thank you. What would you do? You are forced right now. We are talking, and you have to answer this question. What would you do? You fight until you are dead. You fight until you are dead. Do I want you in my military? No. I want you to fight effectively. I don't want you to fight till you're dead because that could be suicide. I don't want you to do that. I want people to think right now about this incredible, what we're talking, because we're talking about all this stuff in the history. We're in battle now. What do we do? What do we do? Rescue the kids, then level it. You're going to rescue the kids. Okay, good. Think they're ready? They're ready. And what do you think when you breach the corridor? When you breach it, when you come in, they're going to say, are they stupid enough to do this? Okay, they're coming in. All right, kids, this is not your day. All right, come on in. They're going to come in and steal the kids. Now, in order to take this, you're going to ask yourself, how many soldiers do you need to do this here? And when you do that, you're exposing yourself to other people who are watching. So you're going to go in, you're going to say, oh, look at that. This division are coming in. And of course, IDF wears a uniform. They're military. They wear a uniform so they can not only tell each other apart, but they're military. If you don't wear a uniform, that's why police wear raid jackets. They want to be able to identify themselves. So here's my question, because this is what nobody's talking about. They talk about war like it's this very simple thing. What do? First, seek high ground. There are kids in there, and you're going to seek high ground. Somebody writes. I don't know what that does, but that protects you. Convene talks with all leaders. There's kids inside there. They don't have time for this. Who's doing the talking? Nobody wants to talk to Hamas. Blinken is talking to everybody, but Iran sends a message through this, I don't know what this word is, through this channel to Israel that says, you touch Gaza, we're coming after you. What do? Someone writes, it's the 21st century and we're all still cavemen. Cavemen with the Wi-Fi connection, clubbing each other over the head. Yeah. Okay, great. I know that. What do? You see what we're doing here? Do you see what's happening here? This is insoluble. Number one, we didn't. Oh, look at this. That's true. They never have an explanation for the USS. We're going to bring up the Liberty again. That's also a classic. This is when Israel attacked the US. Again, one of those things that inspire you to say, Liberty, I should Google that. I've just proved my point. Nobody knows what they're talking about. And what I mean is not in a nice way, in a rude way, but you don't know what this is about. This is, we're just kind of yammering. This is war. War has there's no discussion about this stuff. In NCO school, we learn it's called an ethical dilemma. It's your decision. You have to live with it. Okay. It's a good point. I'm not talking about necessarily you dealing with it from the viewpoint of a citizen and your rational moral view. I'm talking about what is militarily efficacious, what's efficient. What do you do? How do we as a people, how do you do this? What's battle about? See, no one. And not only that, that's just this side. If I were to talk to these other folks who say Israel is an apartheid state for 56 years, right? Yeah. For 56 years, this is the way it's been. What do you suggest? What do you suggest? What do you do? They have no idea. So what we are saying here is we have loads and we want to talk about stuff and isn't it inhumane and the role of the media? And hey, did you hear about those Harvard students who are now seeking money for mental health therapy because of the problems they've been able to? Okay, what does this have to do with anything? I don't know. What does this mean? I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea what this means. This is just yammering. But if you really want to hear, you have to go to other folks who live there, and they're not necessarily people on Fox News or CNN or whatever. They're other people. I told you this thinking Muslim, whatever. Listen to what they're saying. Listen to this. It's fascinating. And you realize you will feel better, especially when you realize that not everybody's on the side of Hamas, that they're kind of there by default to an extent, but they actually got this thing going. You can say whatever you want. Somebody said, what has Hamas accomplished? They accomplished this. We're talking about this. What do you mean, what have they accomplished? They've accomplished a lot. What? Yes. Do you not see this? Do you not? You don't think this might have been, and we can also talk about how this affects Israel right before Israel was dealing, Mohammed bin Salman, they were just this close. And then boom, that's over with. Look at the vacuum. Why do you think Blinken's there? What do you think? And then the other day, Biden said and by the way, if he's on with CBS told him exactly what to ask, or they told CBS what to ask, and they did it. He said, what do you think about actually going into Gaza? He goes, no, I'm against that. You're against it? Well, this is Bibi's. This is the final hour. This has come to meeting time. The very fact, somebody said it before, the very fact that the notion of this impenetrability of Israel as this intel is just striking. That's the image. The Tet Offensive. Do you know what it was like for America to leave, to abandon Vietnam, to be pushing helicopters off of ship decks and to see that last helicopter fly off of the... Do you know what this does to the mentality? Many people are too young to remember this. See, but they've come along right now. And what internet has done is it's provided a chance for people to constantly, talk and answer, but just spew stuff that doesn't really apply to anything. There's no talk. I mean, listen, I think it's great. I think it's wonderful, but there's no talking about the solution. It's just throwing things out constantly. You're just throwing things. I say, whatever you do, find something that's not, you know, battened down and throw it. Opinions, observations, just throw it. Let them have it. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what people think. It doesn't matter if it's true. It doesn't matter at all. Don't worry about it. Just say something. Or take a position and stick to it. Stick to it. I've been through this. Vietnam, there are people who said, we're gonna fight this to the end. Until somebody said, what are you talking about? Listen, John Wayne, it doesn't work like that. Does this make any sense? Does this make any sense? You understand this? I love, like anybody else, truisms. I love to say things that are, let me ask you something. Maybe this is easier. How do you think Trump's doing in this? Has Trump given up valuable political real estate? Do you think Trump has been horrible in his reaction so far? What has Trump done? How has Trump come in to lead this, to establish some kind of leadership? Anything? 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 And by the way, someone writes, do you really think, and it's a good point, do you really think that Biden paying the hostage money, do you think that is what people really, I mean, listen, I'm kind of with you. I'm with you on that. It's funny. They were so steadfast in sanctions against Russia, which I have no idea what that had to do with us. But to raise sanctions against Iran as fueling Hezbollah, I'm with you on that. But do you think it was really that critical? I don't. Look at this. I like this one. I think humans are moving towards singularity consciousness. So war will soon be obsolete, and now the maladaptive tendency toward going to war is being forced into everyone's awareness to resolve it. Nonsense. It sounds good. Great for an essay. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If you have 18-year-old, 19-year-old, unemployed, angry, hopeless young men in cities, in areas of the world, and you're going to say, whoa, hey, hang on a minute. Don't you understand, by virtue of this new alignment and this world that we're this Kurzweil's singularity, we're able right now, by virtue of our genius, to reimagine, to refocus, to re-energize, and to reapportion war into what? Are you ever going to get rid of physical violence? No. Theft? No. Some things are so monumentally human in nature. This is it, because war starts off initially as me hating you. And I'm going to have to wait, not for the singularity machines to come in. I'm going to do something even more immediate and more practical. Sparky says, it may be just academic because Israel doesn't seem to be interested in saving the hostages. Now, may I ask you a question? Do you think anybody, and that's a good point, do you think Israel does not care about saving the hostages? Anybody? And this is an important, don't think ill of us. Strategically, what happens? One, they rescue the hostage. All the hostages are released. Released. How are they released? Because you've done something. What have I done? You've done something to agree to, you've met a condition. That's why they're released. Does that help anything, or does that perpetuate it? That's number one. Number two, hostages are rescued. I think we can eliminate that one. There's 300 miles of tunnel, and nobody's going to rescue anybody. They're all spread out. And I don't know if anybody even keeps charge. I don't even know. I hope the first thing people have is a really up-to-date list of who's missing, and who we're talking about. Because what's going to happen is somebody's going to say, where is so-and-so? I don't know about, no, she was there at this point. Well, we don't have her. And there's going to be that argument. But the question is simply this. What would be the most advantageous? I hate to be brutal. What would be most advantageous for the cause? Would it be to have the hostages dispatched and unfortunately eliminated, or to have them rescued? And if they're rescued or released, what will this do to ensure that this happens again? Is hostage taking the new military? What does this do? Reagan said we don't negotiate with kidnappers. Is that true? This is very important. This is critical. This is very important. What do you do? Do you think Israel wants their hostages released? I do. But if they weren't, would they score politically? Yes. Absolutely. That's not to say, but that's a reality. That's a fact. So what do you do? Someone writes, it's not going to end well. Absolutely not. It's intractable. It's insoluble. There's no answer to this. Do you hear what I'm saying? There is no answer. And remember something. When you think about this, I want you to imagine you're in a situation room. And if you were to, how do I say this? If you were to imagine yourself, you're in a room. If you were to say something like, mankind is completely devolved. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. So here's my question. What is it that we talk? How do we deal with this? How do we deal with this right now? That's what I want you to think about. Don't worry about thinking. You think you're in a room and somebody's sitting you, somebody with a helmet on, somebody with bars or chevrons. They're asking you, what do we do? First, we have hostages. Well, actually, we have prisoners of war. They have hostages. We got to get into that. Believe it or not, a prisoner of war versus a hostage, completely different situations. How you phrase this. Can there be the exchange of prisoners without the world knowing? Probably. But I don't think Hamas wants that. Hamas, by the way, has to justify. It has to say everything was a waste of time till we came along. Also, another question. What happens to Hamas's cachet after this? What happens? Let me tell you something. In a mindset, in a world where action means something, it just went up dramatically. And the one who's really looking bad is Abu Mazen right now with the Palestinian Authority, because they're just harumphing and walking around doing nothing. This is where we are right now. This is the issue. And yet, I can tell you 2 or 3, I tell you just where to go. I can tell you what shows to go to, and they'll never talk about this. They'll talk about the same thing. These are hostages, these are terror. Okay, fine. I love a lot of people, but screaming and yelling is just so boring. You have to go and you have to listen to what people who live there are saying. And you have to listen to the mindset. And you have to ask yourself, what is it that they want? What we didn't understand about the Vietnam War was that from Dien Bien Phu to the Japanese prior to that, the people of Vietnam were overrun. It was a civil war. It was about nationalism. We didn't get it. We just didn't understand it. And I'm sure if we had the internet then, we would have been saying the same stuff that we're saying now. And unfortunately, most of the people that I talk to have no idea. They watch a TV show, or maybe they listen to a podcast, or maybe they hear, Ben Shapiro. And with all due respect, but I mean, that's not going to help you. I want to know the complexity of it. I keep talking about this. This is about cancer. It's about cancer. I talked to a friend recently about, he had a heart condition. I said, you really want to talk about this? No. Okay. He didn't want to talk about it because he didn't want to hear that he has to do something different, or maybe, no. If I told him, well, how about this? Would you like me to explain to you how your heart condition is not your fault? Oh, I'll do that. Oh, yeah, I'll talk about that. That's okay. People only want to hear certain things. I want to hear, what am I doing wrong? What are we doing wrong? How does this work? And what would, let me ask you something. Is there anybody here who disagree with me? Well, let me ask the question. Do you wish Donald Trump was the president right now regarding what's going on? Do you wish Donald Trump was the president for no other reason than what's happening right now? I think Hamas and others would be saying, this guy Trump, I don't know about him. Do you? I do wholeheartedly. 100%. Whatever he does, whatever he did with E. Jean Carroll, whatever he did with the documents, whatever he did, whatever it was, Donald Trump scares the out of these people. And that is a mindset that is so important. These are folks who want anger, power. Joe Biden comes across as an enfeebled. I'm sorry. Do you know one of the problems with being old when you're in politics? It's not that you're unable to do this. It's the public image of you. You look doddering. You have to convey fear into people's minds. And Donald Trump does nothing but fear. Donald Trump, you can say whatever you want. This would not happen if Donald Trump were in. This would not, they wouldn't even think about this. And let me tell you what also they would do. You could talk all about Jared Kushner and all this stuff. Doesn't matter. He would be on it. He would walk out. And how do I say this without sounding chauvinistic, so to speak? We are talking about a group of people who are, in some respects, exceedingly sophisticated in terms of science and technology. But we are talking about, in some cases, cultures that are basically, in some, not all, but in some, are basically working on the 5th century, who believe in nothing but brute force, and this sense of brio, bravura, whatever you want to call it. And Donald Trump would do nothing better or more than to actually be in charge to scare these people out of their minds. Okay? Let me just say that as clear as you can, whether you like it or not. So keep that in mind the next time you want, and I don't mean a Nikki Haley who raises her voice. Trump never raises his voice. You notice that? He may do it so you can hear him. Trump never loses his mind. Never gets angry, which is even scarier. Never gets angry. Remember how the Ayatollah Khomeini used to look at you with that look? Remember he come on like this? They had these weird waves. They don't wave. It started with like Stalin would wave. It's not a wave. Hey, or you go. I mean, they're weird, instead of, Anyway, remember how the Ayatollah Khomeini scared the hell out of him? He had that look in his eye. You don't think that matters? You don't think that matters? This is a guy who sat down on it. He's always sitting down. I think he looked like he was not very ill, but he looked like, ooh, man. Then there's Biden. He can barely get his breath. Oh, dear God. And Blinken's going back and forth, shuttle diplomat. Wait. No. Now, you can say whatever you want, and Trump's not utilizing this. Trump could have one thing and say one thing. This wouldn't happen if I were president. This wouldn't happen. And you know what's also important? Trump has this very basic idea of like negotiating. Okay, who wants what? Say dealing with the mob. What do you want? What do you want? Okay. Palestinian, we'll talk. You want a 2-state solution? Well, one of the things is Palestinian. Last time Arafat rejected it twice. How do we know you're not going to do it again? Blah, 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 blah. The bottom line is simply this. This wouldn't happen if Trump were president. Period. And that's the takeaway. And that's why he's not doing enough to utilize this and to focus on this. All right, dear friends, I want to thank you so much. Sparky, again, your brilliance, your ability to take this thing to levels we have not thought is so monumentally appreciated. Edie Crowley, thank you. John McGuire couldn't get higher. Thank you. And Sparky, you make us think. You make us think, and that is one of the things which is, I think, so critical here today, dear friends. Let me also remind you that coming up, February the 3rd, we're going to have it right here. I'm going to be at the Cutting Room. Make sure you are there. Get your tickets now. And when I do it, I do my thing, play a little gut bucket, but I take questions and answers and cards, and it's not like anything you've seen. Nobody does this. These people go out, they have prepared speeches, they have the prepared things, and that's it. They never turn the mic over to you and say, go ahead, throw something at me. In fact, normally you're called a heckler. I won hecklers. That's the whole point. You ask me, let's talk. And plus, you get to meet each other, and it's like-minded folks, and you will not believe how many people, because this is a different world than it was a year ago. That's all I'm going to say. Okay? You got that? Also, dear friends, My Patriot Supply right now, save $200 off a 3-month emergency food kit, and if you order by 3 p.m. every day, shipping is free. $200, My Patriot Supply. Go to preparewithlionel.com, preparewithlionel.com. That's the only link you're going to use. And today I was reading again about our friends from MyPillow. They are just dancing over the grave of MyPillow where they're not going anywhere. MyPillow.com, promo code Lionel, or call 800-645-4965 for deals aplenty for items and clothing and bedsheets, everything that you will luxuriate. They are simply the best, and they are so worthy of your patronage. All right, dear friends, have a great and a glorious day. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Thank you so much for joining us. And also, remember something, and this is important. We are not going to do the usual stuff other people do. I'm not going to hit here and read headlines. I don't read headlines. I'm not interested in that. I want you to think. I want to throw questions out. I want you to learn. I want you to say, I didn't know that. I didn't realize it. This is far more complicated. This bothers people. Most people want there to be say, would you stick to you? What are you saying? Nobody ever asks you a question. They just tell you. They just lecture to you. I'm not lecturing. I'm asking questions. And the bottom line is, this is insoluble. Sorry to say that, my friends, but it's insoluble. It's a very, very scary thing. All right, dear folks, have a great day. See you tonight at 7 p.m. Until then, remember, sign up for this thing. We got new videos coming left and right. So don't forget this, my friends. As I always say, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Ta-ta.